Well, today is a big day because we're finally talking data products beyond the talking. If you're part of the data community, you know that there are only two kinds of people. People who believe in data mesh in the sense that it's coming, and people who believe in data mesh in the sense that it's already done. We've just been doing data mesh all this time. But regardless of whichever camp you're in, I think the whole data world does agree that data should be managed like a product. And we are all definitely aligning towards talking about data as a product. And so we, for a while, have actually had a channel called Design Data Product Entity. And it was really around bringing together the community in giving us input into how they think about data products and how they would like DataHub to actually represent data products. And we had quite a bit of participation from the community. People have shared big ideas, what they would like to see. There's even small PRs that were opened, big academic papers that have been written, an RFC that I created combining all of the input we got from the community. Max wrote a large blog post and also a big image for how he thinks data products should be modeled. And Dhruv recently described a very concrete use case, sharing of data across data products. So we've gotten a ton of feedback from the community, and that's what makes this community special, because we are allowing you all to kind of help us understand and make sense of some of these slightly vague concepts. So with all of the input that we've received, we had a few ideas for modeling data products that actually came from the community as well. Max built this. It's super complex if you look at all of the things that people care about. Too many things. And we were a little bit nervous about putting all of these complex things into the data product entity from the get-go and then maybe getting it wrong. And so in the spirit of modeling only what is necessary and leaving further iterations to kind of the next version of the data product entity, we've taken a more MVP approach to this model, and I'll kind of describe what that looks like. So you're probably all familiar with the raw technical metadata graph, right? There are streams and tables and pipelines, and they process stuff and produce tables, and some of these tables go up into dashboards. And what we really want to help you do as you think about a data product is draw a nice boundary around some of these things and say, you know what? All of these things are really the revenue data product. These pipelines that my team works on, these tables that they produce, and this dashboard that's getting exported, that's my data product. It's called a revenue data product. With this nice little label that you have, a boundary that you've drawn across things that you manage and want to share with other teams, you can attach ownership, tags, glossary terms, and write documentation to your heart's content. And in the future, and this is kind of coming, we think, in the next iteration, start to share some of these concepts across with other teams. So you can mark certain things within a data product as being internal, other things as being shareable. And that then allows other downstream teams to start depending on some of these outputs from your data product in their definition of their data product. So hopefully this gives you a sense of how we're thinking about it, how your input is driving how we're thinking about it, and where the model is going. But that's not all. We want to bring in all of the shift left and shift right and shift back left principles into data product definition lifecycles, because we've heard repeatedly from the community that you want to manage data products definitions just like you manage everything else, like code. And so we think that the business user and the developer can be brought together through essentially the ability to define data products as YAML, being able to check those into Git, having those get synced up with DataHub. The business user can collaborate and refine the definition of the data product, and those changes can then flow back right where they started, so that we no longer have to have these two worlds live so far from each other. So that's where we're going, and we'll do a quick demo today to describe what we've got coming.
Nice.
With that, I'll let Chris take over.
All right. Let me sure to write this down. Cool. Okay. Hey, everyone again. I'll be showing you what we put together to make data products a reality. And in the context of doing that, I'm going to be walking through an example of how someone might actually want to use data products. So in this scenario, let's say I work with the marketing team at our favorite pet adoption agency, Longtail Companions. Let's also say that we're working on a new campaign with our friends at ASPCA to showcase a new pet of the week every week. This campaign involves using a specific dashboard called Adoption Report, which you can see here. We want to be able to organize this dashboard and all of its key upstreams into a new data product so we can keep track of everything related to this campaign all in one place. So let's take a look at this lineage graph to figure out what other entities we might want to put into this theoretical data product that we still have to create. So you can see upstream, we have some charts, we have an Explorer. And in this scenario, let's just say I want to map all these guys into one data product to make sure we can keep track of them together. So I'm going to go back. So in order to do that, first, we have to create a data product. So right now, data products live in the context of a domain. So in order to do that from the UI specifically, you need to go to the domain page and create it from there, or you can manage it as code, which Shirshanka will talk more about as well. So once you go to the marketing domain or any domain, we're going to have a new data products tab, as you can see here. And in this data products tab, we're going to show you a list of all the current data products that you have. In here, you can do all of your basic CRUD operations. So you can edit data products from this tab, you can delete them, and you can do what we want to do right now, which is create a new one. So for this, I'm going to create a data product called Pet of the Week campaign, week campaign. You can also add description right here, and I have a handy dandy template that I'm going to be using for this specific one. And then we can create it. Cool. We now have a new data product called Pet of the Week campaign. And let's go to it and start adding some assets to it. So first, you can see data products also have their own profile page, just like other entities, and we can add assets bulk right here. So first, we're going to add adoption report, which is that dashboard that we originally started on in this demo. We're just going to add that guy. And then after we add it, you can see that we have another tab over here called assets, which we can go to, and you can see adoption report was added to our Pet of the Week campaign data product. And then now something really neat that we're going to do here is we can go to this adoption report page and we can go to its lineage tab. And from here, we can add all of its lineage that we care about into our data product using our bulk edit actions. So I can click edit, and here I'm just doing all the first and second degree upstreams specifically. And let me just select all of them right now. And I can set the data product, and the data product that I care about is called Pet of the Week campaign. And we can add it. All right, so now we can go back. You can also see that on the profile page, we have a new section on the sidebar called data product. And you can see that this dashboard is in the Pet of the Week campaign data product. If we go to its profile page and look at its asset list, you can see all of the entities that we just added as well. Cool, so now that we have all of the entities that we care about in our data product, we can now take the time to add owners, you can add tags, you can add glossary terms, do everything that you need to do to make sure that this is organized and managed properly. A few other things that I wanted to show you guys really quick is that you can also filter off of data products. So for example, if I want to see everything that was in that Pet of the Week campaign data product, you can filter there. You can also search for data products as top level entity. So that one was called Pet of the Week campaign. Good thing I misspelled it, so that's why it's not showing up. There we go. Pet of the Week campaign. And from here, you can just go to its profile page, check everything out as per usual. All right, I think that's it for my little demo. Back to you, Shirshanka.
Awesome, Chris. And just a reminder, you can also create views that only include data products. So if you want people to not get annoyed by all of the tables and the dashboards and all of the technical stuff and only want to stay in the data product space, just create a view called just data products and then roll it out to your whole organization. All right, and back to me, we are going to look at the developer experience for data products. quick reminder, we want developers to stay in Git if that's what they love. So I'm back in the UI and the marketing domain is looking kind of empty. There's no data products in there. And so we're going to go over into our trusty YAML editor. And I've essentially written a handwritten definition of a data product, very similar, gave it an ID, a domain, display name, description, and added a few assets by just copying the earns from the DataHub UI. And now I'm just gonna use the new data product command to upsert it up into my DataHub instance. And when I hit refresh, it's there. So inserts work, which is great. I can go look at the campaign, but now I'm wearing my business user hat. I don't have a top hat. If I had, I would definitely wear it. But maybe the business user says, hey, this is good for a start, but only be used for external reporting. And I want to save this in. Perhaps I want to be so brave as to add an owner. All right. And now back in the terminal. Now imagine there's a GitHub action that runs just like what Harshal described that executes a diff. So data product diff against this file. Aha, an update is needed and looks like we've actually applied the diff already. Update. All right. Let's look at what that diff looks like. Whoa. Clearly, the description got added. Looks like there's some bugs in assets, but the owners got added. So work in progress, but what we expect to happen is all of the deltas that you make in the UI are going to be implemented back in to the YAML. And that way you can, again, keep your YAML definitions in sync with the changes that are happening in the UI.
We gotta love a live demo. Always.
Back to you, Maggie. In terms of roadmap and where this is landing, we're planning to open the PR, I think early next week, right, Chris?
That's the plan. Yeah, next week sometime.
So it's data products are going to be a top level entity and you'll be able to work with them very soon. And as I said, the next iteration, it's really a way for us to get more feedback, something for you to react to. Tell us where you want this to go next. We have heard from you about being able to distinguish between internal data assets versus external and allowing that kind of sharing to get implemented across teams. But give us more feedback on what else you want to see.